Hey guys, welcome to KIDMISSING Radio. It's been a while since I did a podcast. This is a one-woman show and I have a hard time getting guests. Today I don't have a guest, but I do have a couple of cases I wanted to bring to you. I just made a video, an emergency alert, with a case of a little boy found by a mushroom hunter in Indiana. Just 50 minutes from Louisville, Kentucky. You take two highways and a bunch of rural roads, and you're there from Louisville, Kentucky. The town right next door, the nearest town, was New Pekin, Pekin, with a population of 1,400. Little boy was a black male, approximately 5 years old. No cause of death has been determined. As of the autopsy on Tuesday, they are waiting on toxicology. They're working very closely with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, NCMEC, and other databases, and the National Center has said they're very happy with the police investigation by the Indiana State Police. They've already received over 200 calls on the tip line, many of them about possible matches of missing children. The little boy was found in a suitcase. If you go over to my video, you'll see a picture of it. It had Fabulous Las Vegas, welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas sign, and like a nighttime cityscape, and it was blue. I'm seriously wondering if this was a unique suitcase, if this was only sold certain places. That may give them a real big clue. And one child that they feel is ruled out, although they're checking anyway, just to cross all the T's and dot all the I's, is Cody Bigsby, C-O-D-I, from Virginia. The Indiana State Police tip line is 1-888-437-6432. Again, that is 1-888-437-6432. Please only call this number if you have a, how do I put this? A tip. Unfortunately, a lot of people will call these hotlines with crazy theories or fake psychics or things like that. I also want to tell you about a case I'm working on for video, which will be in hopefully more detail than I'm going to give you here. She's called Donna Doe. She was killed in Broward County, Florida on the 3rd of August, 1982. She was 5'2", 110 pounds, brown hair and eyes. She was between 14 and 17 years of age. She was struck by a tractor-trailer truck on Interstate 95, Fort Lauderdale. Now, Interstate 95 is an interesting interstate. It's one of the longest in the country, if not the longest. It runs from the tip of Florida all the way up into Maine. So she could be literally from anywhere on the East Coast. They believe she used the name Donna during her travels. She was wearing blue jeans, a dark blue blouse, and brown sandals at the time of her death. She was thought to be a hitchhiker. Again, used the name Donna, which is why she's called Donna Doe. There is a reconstruction. If you have any information, you can call the Broward County Medical Examiner's Office. Investigator Bob Keys, 954-327-6500. Again, 954-327-6500. All information may be submitted on an anonymous basis. I have another unidentified case that this blessed little on. Let me turn my page here back to where I was at. And some cases I'm working on. I am working on putting together a Doe month for Kid Missing TV, or a UID month for August. And I have some cases here it is. One of which is a very old case, so that makes it a little more difficult. A girl about 5 was found in Redmond's Neck Park in Brooklyn, New York, on August 14, 1957. Her case was mentioned on the Boy in the Box America's Unknown Child website, which I'll link in the description. And her case was thought to possibly be related to his, although they never found a connection. She was wrapped in a sleeveless men's undershirt and an army raincoat. These were tied around her, I think by the sleeves. And again, they thought she had a connection to the Boy in the Box. This hasn't been proven at all, but it was something they felt worth mentioning on America's Unknown Child website, and I feel it's worth mentioning. You know, we have DNA now, and we're very close to identifying our boy, as we call him. Um, there is another Jane Doe I want to mention to you. She's called White Clogs Jane Doe. She was wearing white clogs. She was between 14 and 20 years old. She was found on the 21st of May, 1973 in Broward County, Florida. She was just 4 feet, 6 inches tall and weighed 95 pounds. Again, I'll have more on her in my videos coming up in August. May, as you know, if you watch Kid Missing TV, is going to be Historic Month. Please let me know if you like the idea of these themed months. I know a lot of channels do it, and I just thought, why not? Again, I have a ton of does to research for that. I have July's list made of July's videos. June's videos are already edited and ready to go. In May, I will be going on a 2-week vacation. So I will have those videos up and ready to premiere while I'm away. For me, this is a passion, and I love what I do. I watch videos every day about cases and try to get ideas for cases that I can do. Again, I have July's list here, I have June's list over here, somewhere. And May, like I said, is already, May and June are both already in the can. So, and I've also started a new section on Kid Missing TV of updates. As you can see, if you go to the page, I have started to separate out, well, no, not started to, I finished it, the videos into playlists. Instead of just having one Kid Missing playlist, I have Kid Missing, I have Kid Missing Updates, I have Kid Missing Unsolved Murders, Kid Missing's Unidentified, and what I kind of call extras. And so I'm pretty excited about all the new things with Kid Missing TV, about, like I said, about our updates. The first Saturday of every month, we will do updates. We started that in March. The next update is scheduled for May. I also started something in December, December 19th. My mother passed away at the age of 67. and I have decided that I am doing special videos for each of my parents' birthdays. My father's um, was in April. My mother's is in July. Um, Another reason that I wanted to get my cases in the can was because I'm having oral surgery. So I wanted to make sure if I was in pain that I could just put the case up and not have to worry about talking. So I'm way ahead of myself, which is a good thing, you know. um, I can't thank you guys enough for your support. Also, I have been invited to do video podcasts on Spotify. I'm not sure exactly how that would work with a guest. Still trying to figure that out. Um, but please, if you know anyone who has a missing child, a missing sibling, a missing parent that wants to be on the show, or that you could tell about my show, please do. Um, please email me kidmissingtv@icloud.com. That's kidmissingtv@icloud.com. KIDMISSING TV as in television. Um, it's also in the description of every single one of my videos. Uh, excuse me. I, like I said, I haven't been around in quite a while because, well, I haven't had guests. Well, I have a couple of guests potentially lined up, but no dates have been set because they haven't gotten back to me. Um, which is so frustrating. But anyway, um, I also had to deal with my mother, with her passing. She was hospitalized for a month before her passing. So that was busy, crazy time. I barely got videos up. And they were all over the place. They weren't Mondays and Wednesdays like I normally do. Um, but once I got everything straightened out, um, after her passing, I went back to doing videos. I took 2 weeks completely off. I waited until actually more than that. I waited till the beginning of the year to start up again, giving myself time to grieve, time to process. Um, it's been rough, but it's getting better. Um, I have so many wonderful plans this summer that I'm looking forward to, and I have a new life. My mother always wanted me to have a life, and I do. And I think she's so proud. I don't know what you believe, but I believe she's in heaven. I believe she's whole. Um, I think that's what's gotten me through some of the losses in my life. My dad, you know, he died in 2017. Um, you know, losing aunts and uncles and is knowing that in heaven they're whole. Like when I found out that my Aunt Florence had died, we were very close. We talked on the phone because she lived on the other side of the country. I was sad, and then I thought about it. And I said to my parents, I said, you know what? She is so happy up there in heaven because she has her legs back. She can walk again, and that made me so happy. Um, I suppose not everybody believes in that sort of thing, but I do. I want to thank everyone who helped me get my mother's machine paid off so that it can be donated. Um, I want to thank everyone who's been there for me. Um, I'm so lucky. I really am that I have the support that I have, and the love that I have, you know, with Diane and Paul and Uncle Dave Darling and just my cousins have been wonderful. Jenny, Beanie, um, those are my cousins. um, it's just been unbelievable. My lunch is beeping away at me, but this is more important. Um, and I wanted to thank them so everybody knew. And my podcast is the best place to do that because my podcast goes everywhere. And I'm so blessed at that. And if it hadn't been for Mo, I wouldn't have switched my podcast to here. And I was so frustrated with Blog Talk because they deleted so many of my podcasts. And they said they were deleting like the oldest ones, but when I downloaded the ones that I could download and posted them here, I realized that that isn't what they were doing at all. They seem to be picking and choosing which ones to delete. And that really ticked me off. Even if they were going to delete them off their server, they should have given me the option to download them to a thumb drive, which is what I did with the ones that were left, so that, or to my computer or whatever, so that I would have them because they're my property, they're my interviews, and just really bothers me because some of my best shows were deleted. Interviews with authors, interviews with family members, of course. It just really irritates me, especially my interview with Michaela Garrett's mother, Sharon Murch, because unfortunately, Sharon is very ill and I can't have her on again. Sharon is battling breast cancer, as most folks know, and I would love to have her on again to talk about the recent update in her daughter's case and how they're pretty sure they know who did it, and which is amazing. Um, and you know, hopefully that person will tell them where her body is, um, so her mother can lay her to rest. Her mother and father should be able to do that. Um, I think the most exciting thing in terms of the missing and the unidentified that has happened was the identification of the babes in the woods from Stanley Park in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. The Stanley Park boys were identified. Their sister put her DNA in the system. She found pictures of the two little boys and couldn't figure out exactly who they were. And I think it was her aunt that, that said to her, I think I know who they are. I think they're your brothers. They're my what? And so she put her DNA in the system, hoping to find them, never imagining that they were murdered at the ages of 8 and 10 years old. So they were spot on their ages. The reconstructions weren't so spot on. But you have to remember that they were hit over the head with the Lathers hammer. A Lathers hammer, it's got a hammer on one side, kind of an axe on the other. Lath is lath and plaster. It's the thin strips of board, and then they slap the plaster over it. Well, that hammer hammers up those pieces, those boards, um, which are called lath, which is how houses were built back in 1947 when these kids were killed. Um, didn't have drywall. Uh, and they were found with aviator helmets, leather aviator helmets, um, and they were found under a woman's fur coat. I want to make it clear. First of all, their mother has passed away, but I want to make it clear that no one believes that their mother killed them. And their mother, and I found it interesting. They were found under a woman's fur coat, and their family was very poor. Their family could not have afforded a fur coat. So that's another thing that tells you that the mother did not do it. Um, Also, in the month of April, I brought you a lot of cases closer to home for me. Um, it's funny. I take walks now around my town, and my town is small. It's rural. Um, we have, well, when I started school here, we had just a little over 3,000 people. We're up to 9,000 something, which is still a pretty small town. That's why I get a kick out of it when you'll watch like Dateline and they'll say, in the tiny town of blah, 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 population 20,000. And I'll be like, okay, that's three times. That's a little over twice what is in the town I live in. And you call that tiny. So it's just so funny because every town that I've lived in has been that small. Um, because that's where I grew up. I'm very fortunate, I feel, to have grown up in a place like this. It's overall safe. Um, but when you're a kid and you find out that another kid has vanished from another small, supposedly safe town 40 minutes from you, it changes your perspective. And that's what happened to me. I was 11 years old. Sarah Pryor vanished from Wayland, Massachusetts, another small town, kind of out in the middle of the state. And I think it was in Norfolk County. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I'm in Worcester County, which is the largest county in the state because it goes up the entire middle of the state from top to bottom and across um, the middle of the state. It's huge, um, but it's made up of a lot of tiny towns and a couple of cities. Yeah, couple of cities, but the main city is the county seat, which is Worcester. It's so funny to listen to people from other places try to pronounce that. Worcester. No, it's Worcester. Similar to Wooster, Ohio, only it's Worcester. So, um, but and that's what got me started was Sarah and her case and its impact on me. I remember around that time, um, we were walking to school. Our school was a dead end road. Literally, the only thing on that road was our school. It's a road called Gleason Court. And we were walking, my cousins, myself, another kid, and I think it was Chrissy or Chris, might have been both. And somebody was in their car and they yelled, "Get the hell out of here," or something at us. Scared the bejeepers out of us. We never ran so fast up that hill in our lives. And that was a steep hill. Um, because you have that fresh in your mind. And all of a sudden somebody's stopping their car and you're like, we don't want to get grabbed. So we go running up the hill. We did tell our teachers, but what could you do? And our teachers were very proud of us for coming right away and telling them, that we had been harassed on the road because this person could have been up to no good. Um, but there were 5 of us. Yeah, I believe 5 of us, 4 or 5 of us there, so they couldn't do anything. Thank you, Lord. Um, but anyway, Sarah's case, when I was 23 in 1998, her some skull fragments were found. Actually, they were found in about 95. They were identified in 1998 as being Sarah by DNA. Can you imagine burying your child and only having a few skull fragments to bury? I just can't imagine. I read her mother's book recently, and I highly recommend it. Um, and when I saw her face on my TV screen again all those years later in 1998, when I was 23, 24 years old, I said, holy crap. Yeah, I stopped dead in my tracks and I just stood there and looked at the TV with that smiling face coming back at me and listened, and still didn't know who the monster was that had changed the childhoods of so many kids. And we did find out. Um, Pretty sure that monster's name was John Wordy, and he is sitting in a Texas prison for another murder, where he should have never been released in the first place. Let's just say that right out straight. He shouldn't have been released in the first place. He murdered a child, but he was released on parole, came to Massachusetts. It is believed abducted and murdered 2 girls, Sarah Pryor and Kathy Malcolmson, and tried to abduct a 3rd girl who got away, thankfully. And that is how he was caught. They can't bring him to trial for either of those because they don't have any evidence. They're just pretty sure it was him. They sent him back to Texas. Texas violated his parole. And every time he comes up, Sarah's family is there. Kathy's family is there. They do not want this monster out of jail. This is a child predator, a monster who needs to stay behind bars forever. He also needs to tell these families where the rest of their children are, where Kathy's buddy is, where the rest of Sarah is. I don't believe in the death penalty. However, creeps like this need to stay in jail. They truly do. Um, I want to thank you for listening. Um, thank you for hearing all of these cases, and I want to reiterate that phone number for the first case, the emergency case. That is 1-888-437-6432, Indiana State Police tip line. And in the case of Donna Doe, it is Broward County Medical Examiner's Investigator, Bob Keys, 954-327-6500. Again, thank you for joining me. God bless you, and have a wonderful rest of your day.